right, now cooling with makeup air. I kind of brought this up at the beginning where cooling is just not as common in makeup air applications. We really see this around the kitchen market. And the reason for that is because everything coming into that building is typically being exhausted right back out. So it's kind of a waste of energy, whether you're looking at heating or cooling. But we'll talk about, and so just don't confuse this, I guess, with a general DOAS or a dedicated outdoor air system application. We're looking at really sensible cooling only. So measuring outside air temperatures, what are we at? If it's 80, 85 degrees outside, maybe we should consider energizing one circuit of cooling, bring it down 10 degrees to about 70. If it's 90 outside, we'd bring on a second compressor and bring it down to roughly 70 degrees. So you guys are in a unique market out there in Washington. So when you guys get a little warmer, you guys are definitely a little less humid. Here in Wisconsin, this type of technology doesn't work. When we get hot, we get very humid. So trying to introduce water to already saturated air does really little to nothing as far as effectiveness. But in your area, we're talking 90 to 95% cooling effectiveness, depending on what your humidity and what that wet bulb temperature is outside. The benefit of evap cooling is airflow is pretty much limitless. You can go all the way up to 64,000 CFM with one single makeup air unit and introduce evaporative cooling. And again, the efficiency stance on this, 90 to 95% cooling effectiveness, depending on that outside air. Now, as a standard, we're going to use Munter's Cell Deck media. Glass Deck is available. That's if you need the fire rating on that as well. So they're really the best in the industry. Full stainless steel surround, full stainless steel drain pan. And then the biggest thing I want to highlight is the optional automatic drain and fill kits. I'm sure Dorse has gotten in the habit of this, but just something to keep in mind. Auto drain and flush is pretty important from a maintenance stance, because once you're introducing water into the airstream to effectively cool it, well, what are you left with in that pan if you're not doing some form of flush sequence? You're left with all the mineral content, or depending on whatever your water quality is, whatever's left. So water is being introduced into the airstream. So it's very important to do like an automatic drain and flush sequence of that pan to introduce fresh water supply to extend the longevity of that media. So it is something that we offer. It's an auto drain and flush kit from the factory once a day for 5 minutes. It'll introduce fresh water supply and flush that pan out. So just a fun little fact there. Other things too, not many manufacturers do this, but we do have built-in 2-inch aluminum mesh filters have always been a standard, but now we do have optional MERV 8 and MERV 13 2-inch filter options. Before that media, anything up to about 13,000 CFM. PDX, so package DX cooling, some interesting changes are actually in conversation right now. That's actually a meeting that I just came from before this presentation. 2025, we're moving to a new refrigerant type. And that refrigerant type is going to be considered slightly flammable. So there's interesting conversations on that and how it'll be applied to our equipment in the first place. And we're in redesign phase right now. So everything currently at 410, all the way up to 8100 CFM. But it looks like we're going to be changing that overall design to about a max of 5,000 CFM with this new A2L R454B type refrigerant. That's really hits majority of the market that we're looking at for the kitchens. 5,000 CFM seemed to be a pretty good happy point. And since we needed to redesign the whole box, that's kind of where we ended up landing. Currently, the PDX, or the condensing section, hangs off the backside of our unit. We're actually looking at an engineered design, more of a V-bank module on the top of the unit now. So the units will get a little bit taller. So just interesting changes to talk about right now and discuss going forward for 2025. Current state right now is at 8,100 CFM, but again, 5,000 CFM is probably going to be the top end of this when we come closer to that 2025 date.
Hey, Phil, I wanted to jump in real quick and just let everyone know that Greeneck also has an advanced line of rooftop air handling units, the RV unit, which does have the options for heat pump. The refrigerant change is already taking place, and those can go up to about 18,000 CFM. So what Phil is talking about is, again, these kind of economical light tempering units for cooling and heating. So that's why it's kind of focusing around that 5,000 CFM and less for that cooling for the kitchens. But when you do have those applications where you have larger amounts of outside air, we do have another model unit, and we will be doing a power hour session on that here in a few weeks.
Yep. So RV, RVE, considered more of a DOAS type. This is, again, like Chris had mentioned, more of the economical approach when we're just looking to take the edge off that outdoor air, then that's where the RV model actually needs to be considered if you're looking at a little bit larger airflow capacity. So thanks for bringing that up, Chris. Lead digital scroll compressors are also available, just not very common for most makeup air. We're looking at variable speed compressors and everything like that for the model RV that Chris had mentioned. A little bit better temp control. Again, this is more of a low cost packaged option for more of your kitchen design. Just want to let you guys know that it is available currently for 10A, and we are looking at options for the new refrigerant change and the refrigerant type come 2025.